I don't cover very much in Judge Bryant's court. I kind of respect the fact that she really dislikes it, so I tend to avoid. However, this case was really intriguing, combining a history of CPS and supervision by the department for dad's visits. It was just too up my alley to not cover. When you see dad's explosive reaction when things don't go his way, you're not going to believe it. But who knows? Maybe he was justified in his anger. I guess we're about to find out. Oh, and definitely stick around till the end, because Judge Bryant has some things to say to her own YouTube chat, and it got pretty feisty.
Parenting time schedule allowed for him to have parenting time on that date from 11 to 1. Mr. Standiford showed up at 12:09. There was a situation from a previous warning or statement that Ms. Polk had made to Mr. Standiford about other individuals coming to parenting time that they would not be allowed. That caused some disruption and disturbance. Those individuals were told to leave. Mr. Standiford took offense to that and proceeded with his parenting time, but there was a significant disturbance in that progressing after he was already an hour, almost an hour plus late. Upon further information from Ms. Polk, testimony you'll hear is that she heard Mr. Standiford make the statement, Ms. Polk, I'm not in a good place. I'm not in a good headspace, and I will hurt everybody associated with this case. Police ain't always gonna be here, and if I catch you outside, I'm gonna fuck you up. And he made that statement to Ms. Polk as she is doing her employment with the DHHS, which is threatening a DHHS employee with physical harm. And that put her in fear of that threat of harm. We also have video, hopefully, that we'll be able to show everybody when we have of the interaction with Mr. Standiford by our police officers that appeared on scene. But however, we believe that that testimony from Ms. Katina will be sufficient for this court to find beyond a reasonable doubt after she identifies Mr. Standiford in the court, find him guilty of threatening the DHHS employee. Okay. Ms. Stevenson, are you giving an opening statement at this time?
Actually, we're gonna wait a little bit.
Okay. Can you all approach for a moment over here? Okay. Then Ms. Coleman, the people may call their first witness. Your Honor, we will call Katina Polk. And you're saying Polk, O-P-O-L-K or P-O-K-E? P-O-L-K, thank you.
Your Honor, prior to that, I did just want to put something.
Oh, yes, you may.
So, Your Honor, I would advise the
One moment. Hold her out.
I would advise the court, this is a pretty serious situation. As the court knows, Mr. Standiford is charged with a 1-year misdemeanor here. We have had communication prior to today's court date. Did put a waiver on the record at his final pre-trial conference. Mr. Standiford did come to court this morning indicating that he had some witnesses. I advised him that he won't be able to call any witnesses because he has 5 witnesses. And I'm just stating for the record, Your Honor, that I do sincerely wish that Mr. Standiford and I had much more time to confer with regard to this case. He's indicated to me that he didn't receive the email that I sent. It did bounce back. He's indicated to me that he didn't receive any phone calls or text messages from me. And that's because he has a new number of which I was not aware. So I do just want the court to know that I have not been able to be in contact with my client so that we can prepare sufficiently for this very serious trial. I would ask the court, I know that we've already gotten started, but it would just be great if we could have some more time. And haven't been able to do that. I have tried judiciously to be in contact with him. So do have a new phone number. He's indicated to me that he has a new phone now, walked away from a job today so that he could be in court as he was ordered to. He has a lot going on in his life, but we just have not had enough time.
Well, I'm gonna correct the record or statement that you just made. You've had time to prepare. Mr. Standiford got a new phone number, and then I don't know what happened with the email. But when I'm in the middle of defending myself on a case and I get a new phone number, I'm the only one that knows I got a new phone number. The other people that have my phone number who are trying to reach me, then it is my responsibility to make sure they have my new phone number. 36th District Court has been in this same place at least 30 years because at least 34 years because I've been practicing law in this, the only place I've been coming. And then it's been here at least 19 years because I've been on the bench for 19 years. And every day that I come to work since I've been on the bench, I come to 421 Madison Street. That means that we have been here, my clerk has been here, your office has been in this building for at least 19 years. We have not moved nor changed. My phone number is the same. 36th District Court's phone number is the same. If I change my phone number and I am a defendant and I know that I have matters pending, it is my responsibility to contact the people who probably are trying to get in touch with me for my case. So you had opportunity to, or time to prepare. However, it appears that there was an obstruction to the preparation, and it is not a sufficient reason for the court to adjourn, postpone, or delay this trial. And that is noted for the record. I'm ready to proceed. However, I'm also informed that your witness, whatever you tried to do, was going to do, and whatever for that perfume, it maybe didn't work because my officers have alerted me that your witness has perfume. At the point that it is too much for me, then I guess Mr. Standiford might get his request and I'll have to declare a mistrial. It is incumbent upon the people to notify every witness that courtroom 339 has a zero fragrance policy. Zero fragrance. Everybody come in here, the only thing you should put on is some deodorant. Nobody wants trying to smell you. We don't care of all the money you spend on the perfume and stuff. We don't care. Zero fragrance policy. It is posted on the outside of my door. It is on the court's website. It is spoken to the jurors. And the people need to make sure, well, not just the people. Everybody need to make sure that your witnesses are not coming in here with fragrances. So I'm going to allow the witness to come in, but I feel like when just by him opening up that door, I feel like I already smell her. And if I could smell her from that hallway, she's getting ready to sit right next to me. And if I start having an asthma attack, then it's going to be a mistrial. So I don't know how we're trying to proceed. But we can go, and I don't know what was allegedly done to tone down the smell, but it's incumbent upon everybody to make sure that those things are managed. So, yes, Ms. Coleman.
In speaking at length with Ms. Polk, she only has fabric softener. I do have some Odo bags but I don't know if that would have been.
I don't know, but let's just see. She not being honest. If my officers alerted me that she has, I had never smelled no fabric softener that strong, but let's go. Come on. Yes, hold on. Approach. Council, let's let her stand over here. Let's go in the hall for a minute. Oh, yes, okay. Okay. I have a question. Well, come back, come back. Just one, come back. I think that's gonna be good. Okay, I think that's gonna be better. Okay. Not yet. I want you to step forward a little bit, but stop at the edge of this table right here. Come forward towards me. Yes, ma'am, raise your right. I'm gonna have you sit at the table, because I actually do smell, the break, so I'm trying to.
I'd like to apologize for where I wasn't informed. It's fabric softener, it's not perfume.
That's what they say, but it's pretty strong. So just have a seat in that chair. And then, I think I'll be okay. And then, but I do need, so you seem like you have a pretty, seem like your voice is gonna be okay, but, I don't think the mic can move any further over because of the cord is short.
I'm sure to speak to somebody.
Yeah. Okay, so, I think it'll be okay, and if it's not, I'll stop you all and let you know, but I think I'll be okay. Okay, Ms. Coleman, you may proceed. Thank you.
Can you state your name for the record?
Yes, it's Katina Polk.
And Ms. Polk, where are you employed?
I am employed.
And where are you employed?
I work for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
And how long have you worked?
I've been here for nearly 7 years.
And what is the location in which your employment takes place?
4207.
And I'm gonna bring your attention back to May 12th.
I do apologize. What's her first name?
It's Katina. Katina.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, I was doing something, I didn't write it down.
That's okay. You could also spell your last name for the person.
Sure, it's Polk.
Thank you. I'm gonna bring your attention back to May 12th, 2025. Do you recall that date?
I do.
And do you recall where you were on that date?
I do.
And where was it?
I was actually at my place of employment, executing work duties. That is correct.
And around 11 o'clock a.m. on that date, were you at that location?
I was.
And did something occur on that date out of the ordinary or that would bring you into court today?
It did.
And what, if anything, occurred?
The entire office was virtually threatened by the plaintiff, the defendant over there, Mr. Standiford.
Okay, I'm gonna hold up for just a second. You stated that the entire office was threatened by Mr. Standiford. Do you see Mr. Standiford in the court today?
I do.
And where is he? Where is he?
He's in front of me to my right.
And if you could describe what he's wearing?
He has some glasses. He has like a natural afro kind of hairstyle, like a black hoodie, black jeans, and Jordan gym shoes.
And for the record, we'd ask for the court, the identification of Mr. Standiford.
The record reflect the identification of Mr. Standiford.
And did you have an interaction with Mr. Standiford prior to the statement, the threats to the home office? Were you in communication? What was the situation for you to interact with Mr. Standiford?
I was a foster care worker for the family, servicing them in the capacity of, in the event of executing duties from Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
What does that entail?
In this particular instance, I was executing parenting time business for Mr. Standiford, as well as, at that time, I'm not sure if they're still together, but it was his partner.
And if you could describe for the court the process in regards to parenting time, is it both people, is it single? How does that occur?
I believe the incident occurred because prior to the 12th, I believe that date was May 5th, Mr. Standiford was allowed to come in with his partner to do the visits together. However, some additional
non-responsive.
Excuse me.
No, hold on.
So
Non-responsive, look. How so? I usually don't allow speaking, but, because she said, explain how the parenting time visits work. And then the witness is saying, prior to that day, this is how it worked. But
So I'm just not hearing how she facilitates parenting time. I thought that was the question.
It was what the judge said.
I get your point, but I'm gonna allow it. I'm gonna overrule right now. I do get your point. I'll allow it.
So, as I stated, prior to the 12th, Mr. Standifer had the privilege of doing the visits with his partner. But due to additional allegations that had came in through our department, I had to separate their visits because Mr. Standifer at that point was only going to be allotted to visit with his actual child that he had legal standings with. I spoke to him and the partner at length after
The
the
narrative.
Sustained, and now it's becoming non-responsive, your question.
Thank you. So where they previously could have the parenting time visitation, something occurred such that you had to make a statement that they were separated.
correct.
Okay. And when that occurred, what was the response from Mr. Standifer in regards to that?
Initially seemed to be fine with it, but when he appeared on the 12th for the visit, everything just went left.
And was that initially, as soon as he appeared, do you recall what time he appeared?
He actually arrived late. I believe it was 45 minutes late. I had repeatedly called him to encourage him to come and to do the visitation with his child. However, after some reluctancy, he did come to the office to do that visit. But it was a lot of push and pull.
What do you mean when you said that?
When Mr. Standifer first initially arrived, he arrived with a partner when they knew they were supposed to arrive separately. It was 3 parties at that time. It was, Mr. Standifer was supposed to do his visit first with his child. And then, as my colleague was attempting to escort him back to the back room, he just became irate. And at that point, he said, if you guys don't let me visit with all my children, and I quote, I'm gonna hurt everybody that has something to do with this case, which infers to everybody in this building.
And were you able to overhear that statement?
I did.
And, did you take that statement to include yourself?
Absolutely.
Were you in the building?
I was communicating with him at that time, and I did let him know that our building has 0 tolerance policy for threats, and just try to continue to try to do his visit. At that point, my colleague did take him back to the visitation room.
Were you present to see that occur?
When he took him back to the visitation room, I
Yes.
was
Okay.
at that time.
And who is that colleague?
That colleague name is Richard Lane.
And what, if anything, occurred as he was taken back to the visitation room?
So as he went back to the visitation room, my colleague had informed me that their infant did not have any milk. So I had to go to our supply closet to try to prepare a bottle for the baby. But in the midst of me doing that, I had received a phone call on my cellular device indicating that Mr. Standifer had independently moved his visit back to our lobby.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
He left the visitation visitation room, and went back to the lobby with his infant.
Okay, and where are the parenting time visitations supposed to occur?
Our visitation room is in a secured area of our building, and it is a room that is designated for families where we have activities and toys that the families can engage in while they're present doing their business.
Okay, so, so he took the baby out of the area, the designated area.
Correct.
And if you know, did anyone give him permission to do that?
They did not, which is why I was informed.
Okay. And once I apologize.
Did she say which is why or what? You said which is,
I was informed that he left the permissible visitation area, that's why my colleagues contacted me, let me know that he was not in a designated space.
thank you.
And what, if anything, did you do once you got that information?
Well, I actually stopped preparing the baby a bottle to go back to the lobby to try to encourage Mr. Standifer to go back into the visitation space. When I arrived to the lobby, I noticed that he was trying to collaborate with his partners to come in to do the visit in the lobby with him. So after some negotiation, he ultimately did go back to the visitation area with his infant. I then again left him with my colleague, Mr. Richard Lane, so that I can go and resume trying to prepare the baby vital. In the midst of me going back to do that again, I was told that Mr. Standiford had actually moved into the secured hallway with the infant, not in the visitation space. So I did, stop making the vital to go back to consult with Mr. Standiford again, to let him know that he has to stay in a designated space, as that was a secure hallway. And at which point he did grumble a bit, and he went to stand with his feet, one inside of the visitation room and the other foot standing in the hallway. So I then tried again and encouraged him to go back into the visitation space, at which point he was like still toying around, and I told him at that point the visit was concluded.
Okay. And for this whole interaction, did he make any other statements?
It was not directly to me, but law enforcement did have to be called, and at one point, the law enforcement agent did inform me that he did indicate that, I had to leave at some point. So, I couldn't stay in the office there forever. So police enforcement stayed outside of the office until I dismissed from the premises.
Okay. But there was a statement that you overheard in regards to, I overheard everyone in.
That is correct.
And how did that statement make you feel?
It made me feel, very vulnerable and at risk. This is not a job that we take lightly. Protecting children is our priority. It is very, very uncomfortable knowing that someone will make those kind of threats, knowing that that is my place of employment that I adhere to every day. And quite frankly, Mr. Standiford has done this to another colleague of mine. So I take it very seriously.
And how did Mr. Stanford take that the parenting time was completed? And before you answer that question, what time period, I asked you and I didn't listen, what time period did this whole thing take?
The visit was scheduled between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. He arrived around 11:45 p.m. The visit was concluded around like 12:15 p.m. where we had to actually contact law enforcement because he refused to relinquish his child back over to our custody.
Please excuse my interruption. Ms. Pepper is still in the breakout room. Did your colleague go in?
So he's not answering the call.
Let's bring her on. Let me see. Is it a car that's gonna leave like after 5 minutes, something like that? You know how the cars. Okay, let's see. Let's bring her up. 30 seconds on board. Close down. For the record, it is, I do smell the fabric salt, but it's scented. That's why I smell it. So, Mr. Drew, I'm actually going to send you for something.
Okay.
Go in my office. My inhaler is, I have 2 monitors, and there's the box that's in between the 2 monitors.
Okay.
My inhaler is right on top of that box. Okay.
So that's the time.
Miss Pepper, are you there? Miss Pepper? Please unmute your device, ma'am. Can you unmute, please?
Okay. You see me now? Hear me?
Yes, but your lawyers are trying to reach you. They sent a car for you and they say you're not responding.
Oh, that's probably because I was in the restroom. I didn't hear it.
Oh,
I had to grab
ma'am,
my crutches.
you've been in the restroom this long. Let's just, can you get
No.
outside? Ma'am,
Yeah, I'm finna go outside.
listen. Please go out to the car. Just go out to the car. We're in a trial and we're just trying to get your attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any
I
instructions,
apologize.
Dickinson?
I don't even know if it's still there anymore.
Oh, well, we hope it's still there. All right. we can continue, this is a, that's trial, this, I don't know what happened. Let's continue. We'll see. Let's see. Okay. I believe the last question I had in regards to Mr. Standiford's response in regards to the parenting time being stopped. What, if anything, occurred in regards to it?
At the point of it being stopped, again, he had an infant child that was in the back with my colleague, Mr. Richard Lane. I then informed our security officers that, we were concluding the visit and that he was refusing to relinquish the child over to our custody and that they should contact law enforcement and hit the panic button, in which they did execute. In my absence, I was informed by my colleague, Mr. Lane, that he had contacted his female partners to, and I quote, Your Honor, to come into the office to whip my ass. And at that point, when I came out to the lobby, the two female partners did approach me, at which point I was able to instruct them to leave the office immediately.
And how were they approaching you? Was it in a friendly manner?
Prior to his visit being executed, they were asked to wait outside because only his parenting time was happening between 11 and 1 p.m. When I went out to the lobby to inform the security officers, both female partners walked into the office to approach me and told me that he needed them to calm him down. They were the only ones that were going to be able to do that.
Okay. But they didn't make any other statements to you in a friendly manner?
They did not.
Okay. What, if anything, occurred after, did you go back into the parenting time room where Mr. Standiford was?
I was liaising between the front lobby,
You were what?
liaising between the front office lobby and the parenting time room. I had to stay present at the front lobby office to make sure that I was communicating with the security officers, as well as assuring that Mr. Standiford and the baby were remaining safe in the back area with Mr. Lane.
Does that mean you were walking back and forth?
That is correct,
Okay.
to communicate things that were transpiring.
And what, if anything, occurred after that?
After that, I was kind of like instructed to take, once law enforcement arrived, we had to make sure that the infant was returned back to his placement safely. And then I, in turn, went directly to the local police precinct to make a report, as well as to go file PPO paperwork with the court.
So you made sure that the infant was secured?
That is correct.
And when the infant was secured, what, if anything, occurred with Mr. Standiford?
At that point, I did not have any more direct contact or communication with him. At the local law enforcement agent was actually maintaining Mr. Standiford at that point.
All right, so Ms. Dickinson, are you ready for cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may.
Good morning, Ms. Polk. If I, trail off and you can't hear me, just ask me to speak up. Okay,
Sure.
I'm happy to do that.
Morning.
All right, good morning. Okay, so, the entire, Mr. Standiford was at your place of employment probably for about 30 minutes on the
That
day
is
in question?
approximately correct.
Okay, all right. And so, I believe you indicated that the police were called?
That is correct.
Okay, do you know whether or not Mr. Standiford was arrested at the time of the incident?
Being hearsay from the local officers, they informed me that if they.
Well, let me ask you this. You were there when the police arrived, is that correct?
I was there when the police arrived.
Okay, did you see the police arrest Mr. Standiford?
Again, I was informed that they attempted to arrest me, he fled.
Okay,
That's
did
what I was
you,
informed.
okay, did you see them arrest Mr. Standiford?
Again, I was informed that they attempted to do an arrest, but he fled.
Okay, got you. All right, so was Mr. Standiford present inside the building when the police arrived?
He was present inside the building.
Okay, did the police didn't arrest him inside the building?
No, they came to the back parental area where we do the visitation,
Okay,
where they allow him to help assist me with him relinquishing the baby back to our care and custody.
okay, so when the police arrived,
Mhm.
Mr. Standiford was cooperative with the officers?
Not initially, he did show some resistance, but they, consulted with him and had conversation with him, at which point they did encourage him to relinquish the child back over to our care and custody.
Okay, and did he do that?
He did. after
Okay,
some time.
and then after he gave the baby back to the officers, what did Mr. Stanford do, if you remember?
They escorted him out.
Okay, so he left without being, you didn't see them arrest him, correct?
Again, no, I did not.
Okay, did you see them take him outside?
I seen them escort him out of the building.
Okay, did they tell him that he had to leave?
Oh, yes, they did tell me I had to leave the premises for sure.
Okay, so they didn't arrest him, they told him, get out of here, have to give us the baby and get out of here.
They escorted him. Yeah, they told him to give me the baby, and then they walked him out of the building.
Okay, but not in handcuffs or restraints or anything?
No, not to my knowledge.
Gotcha. All right, so had you explained to the police what had transpired?
I did.
Okay, all right. So, during this 30 minutes that Mr. Standifer was actually present at the facility, you indicated that he would leave the designated area and go to a different.
That is correct.
Okay, and I think, did you indicate that you were able to convince him to return to the proper location, the proper area?
The first time it was successful.
Okay, and
This,
so did you guys have any argument or anything like that? I mean,
again, he was disgruntled.
Okay.
He would mumble and say some swear words.
okay, but he took the baby back to where he was supposed to be
The
visiting.
initial time, yes.
And then you returned to kind of go back to getting the bottle together.
That
and
is
all
correct.
Okay, and did you indicate that happened maybe a second time?
He did.
Okay, so the second time that you went back and talked to him, did he adjust himself again, or?
No, that was the time that the police had been called.
Okay, all right, okay, so the child, was it just one child that Mr. Standifer was there to visit?
He was the legal father of one child to that sibling group. That is correct.
Okay, and how large was the sibling group?
There was a sibling group now of 5.
Okay, at the time of the visit, there were 5 kids there, or?
No, at the time of the visit, it was just the one youth there, with the
Okay.
other 4 expected to arrive, and some had arrived.
Okay. Okay, so the baby that we're talking about, how old was that baby?
An infant, the months old.
Like less
I
than 6
don't
months old?
remember, I'm sorry, but I don't remember the exact age, but he was an infant. He was
A
under
small
12 months.
baby?
Yes, he was under 12 months at age.
Okay, a little boy, a little girl?
Little boy,
Okay, all right. And that was the one child?
that is correct.
Okay, all right. So, once Mr. Standifer arrived, you said late for his parenting time visit?
That is correct.
Okay, and did he want to visit with the baby in a certain area, or?
No, he wanted to be able to visit with the youth with his other 2 partners, all at the same time with the other children, but that was not permissible.
Okay, is there a relationship between those other individuals and the children?
Mr. Standifer's child, in question is, one of the partners that were there is his mother and the mother to the other 4 children.
Okay.
The other individual that was there, I believe how I was explained from my colleagues, they were in a poly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so they, the agency was the guardian of the children?
No, the court were under jurisdiction, I'm sorry, the children were under the jurisdiction of the court.
Okay, so let me just ask you, was there was some we're moving toward family reunification at this point, do you know? Or?
How I understand it to come in is that the mom, intentions were, temporary custody of removal, and Mr. Standifer was permanent custody.
Okay, so
Which
Mr.
means that it was the expectation that his rights were going to be terminated.
So on the date of the visit, Mr. Standifer's parental rights were in the process of being terminated?
No, his parental rights were intact, but the objective and the goal was to terminate his parental rights.
Okay, so the plan was that he was gonna lose his son, right?
And per my colleagues, their petition, that is correct.
Okay, did you know if that happened?
It did.
All right, and so since, May 12th of 2025, have you had any more contact with Mr. Standifer?
No.
All right. So can you, I know you indicated at one point that Mr. Standifer became irate because he couldn't do the visit the way he wanted to. But did you have any other observations about his emotional state at the time of this visit?
In regards to,
How was he acting?
I mean, I don't know how you want me to describe that,
Was he sad, scared, frightened, angry,
um,
consolable? How was he acting?
the task that we execute is very difficult. I can only imagine that any parent who had their children removed, probably are not happy about it. So
Okay.
I'm sure that there was some emotion in regards to that.
Okay, did you see him crying at all?
I don't recall.
Okay, and how many times did you interact with him?
Prior to that day,
During that 30-minute visit?
I want to make sure that I'm clear that our interaction as far as the parenting time was about 30 minutes. But by the time we had to liaise with law enforcement agencies and things of that sort of nature, that time was a lot more significant. Significant, I apologize. But during that period of time, my communication with him was like frequent. I mean, I was the caseworker, so I had to communicate with him.
Okay, so did you see him, like, did he seem sad? Or
No, he was aggressive.
Did he seem sad though?
No,
Okay, never saw him crying.
I never saw him cry that day.
Okay, all right. Was he kind of holding the baby all the time? Or?
Oh yeah, he was holding his child.
Okay, all right. So before this, were you working Mr. Standiford's case or?
I was.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did he ever express to you that he did not want to lose custody of his son?
We never really talked about that at length as far as like his, custodial status to his child. What he did imply to me was that he loved all children, not just his legal child that was actually designated to him to visit.
Okay, all right, okay. Is it fair to say that this was an emotional experience, that it seemed to be an emotional experience for Mr. Stanford?
I wouldn't say that. I think that, we all have to act accordingly. Threatening
100%,
threatening anybody is not acceptable.
but it didn't seem emotional.
No, it just seemed violent.
Okay, all right. Okay. And you said that your colleague was I didn't write his last name, Richard?
Mr. Richard Lane, who was supervising the visit on my behalf.
Okay. You know, he's here today?
He is not.
Do you still work with that agency?
I do.
Does Mr. Lane still work with that?
He does.
All right. Okay. Would you say, how would you describe, this is probably the last question I have, how would you describe your overall working relationship with Mr. Stanford?
What I will say is that with any family, I execute courteousness, respect, compassion. I would not treat Mr. Stanford any different from any other client that I serve.
How would you describe your working relationship with Mr. Stanford?
The same, courteous, respectful, compassion, so much so that initially he was able to visit all the children until we had additional allegations come through. I went above and beyond for Mr. Stanford.
How so?
Because quite frankly, when a parent doesn't have a legal status to children, typically the department does not allow them to visit with those children. However, I understood that they had a family dynamic, although it may look strange in other people's eyes. Children should not be victim to circumstances that are beyond them. So I did allow him to visit with those children. It wasn't until, and I explained to him at length the week prior, that these were decisions that had to be made based off allegations that was made against him or the other children.
Okay, so initially, he was not allowed to have that expanded visit, correct?
Initially, per department policy, we do not have to, but it is encouraged to allow anyone who identified as family to have contact communication with children, so that family dynamic won't break down.
Okay.
And I am that worker who executed that.
Okay, and at that point though, were Mr. Standiford's parental rights already endangered?
Correct, that was done at the point of the petition.
Okay, all right, so at some point, he's not gonna get to see them anyway. Right?
Correct.
Okay, so why'd you let him see them this time?
When it's not my job to presume what the outcome of the case is going to be.
Okay,
It is my
that's
job.
fair.
For preservation. Yeah.
of preservation of,
We try to preserve families. That's always the objective. As long as
without him, though, right?
his parental rights are still intact at that point. It's not my position to presume that his rights are going to be terminated as the court's decision. So I have a due diligence to execute visitation with his children up until the point that until the court does make a decision.
Okay,
Yes.
and on May 12th, did you know what the court's decision was?
Termination literally just happened, I believe, like in January of this year.
Were you moving toward reunification on May 12th?
We execute reunification until the court says otherwise.
So were you guys working toward reunification on May
Not
12th?
necessarily working towards reunification, but we do have to allow parents to visit with their children. That is standard, it's policy, was ordered.
Okay, got you. Okay, all right, I don't have anything further.
Ms. Coleman? Just briefly, while Mr. Lane was in contact of actually moving Mr. Standiford from one room to the other to get the child, you were also in that area to hear statements.
That is correct.
And in the statement, I will hurt everyone in this case. Did you feel like that statement was directed at you also?
So when that statement was made, it was upon Mr. Standiford's initial arrival when he was sitting in the lobby area before the visit started to be executed. I was having a conversation with him and he was still expressing that he was upset about how business had to be separated. And he then said, if you guys don't let me see my kids, I'm gonna hurt everybody in this office. Everybody that has something to do with this case, and that means everybody in this office.
But you still let him see his kids?
Absolutely, I just, in our work, we know emotions do get high. I was trying to give him every ample opportunity to be able to visit with his son. It's just my due diligence. And I just informed him that we had a zero tolerance policy, hoping that that would help him reduce those threats. But unfortunately, it escalated.
And as a part of your policy, any and all threats, you haven't followed through on as a part of your.
That is correct. We have Lisa law that is supposed to protect the state employee workers that work in this capacity.
I have one. Okay, so this statement that you said my client made, guys, don't let me see my kids, I'm gonna hurt everybody. How long had he been there when he made that statement?
Probably about 5 minutes.
So he just got there?
He had just got there
Okay,
and was assisting to do the visit as I guess, as they would call a family dynamic.
right,
And that could transpire.
okay, but you didn't stop the visit at that point, right?
No, I did not stop the visit at that point.
And how long after that, after he made that statement, did the police escort him out of the building?
We called law enforcement within 30 minutes of his arrival. After his.
So what I want to know is how much time passed between the time that Mr. Standiford made this initial statement and him being escorted out of the building, how much time passed?
Be anywhere between the 5 minutes of him making that statement and approximately up to 30 minutes.
Okay, so he makes the statement.
Correct.
And he's there for another half hour,
Mhm.
visiting with the baby, left alone with the child. Okay.
No, not left alone with the child, it's business or supervised, hence Mr. Lane's presence during
Okay.
the visitation,
Okay, he has the baby, he's
Correct.
holding the baby.
Correct.
Okay, all right,
being closely monitored.
okay, great, thank you.
Ms. Coleman, anything further? In regards to the threatening statement that we discussed, do you recall any other threatening statements?
Again, I was just informed by the law enforcement agency they stayed outside of the building until I dismissed from the premises that day, because it was stated to them that he implied that I had to leave the building at some time, I couldn't stay there forever.
And that was directed towards you, the statement.
Correct. So that's what the officers informed me of.
Ms. Polk, I want to go back
Yes, ma'am.
to a question that was asked earlier on people's initial questioning. A question to which Ms. Stevenson objected, and then I allowed it, but then you did not ever get around to what I thought was gonna be included. And that is not necessarily specific to Mr. Standiford, okay? But what is your role when a person has supervised visits? What is your role? What do you do when a person has supervised visits? Tell me what that looks like.
So when a parent has supervised visit at our office, it is up to myself or one of my designees to actually sit in that space with that parent, to monitor that parent interaction with that child for court reporting purposes.
So when you're in there with this person, and you say monitoring, are you, for example, taking notes?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then question, why in this, now I'm talking specific,
Yes.
okay? So now why in this specific situation did you have Mr. Lane supervise Mr. Stanford?
So I was still on site. There were 5 children on that particular case, which means all 5 children had to be transported. And unfortunately, those siblings were not placed together. So while Mr. Lane was actually supervising Mr. Standiford visit with his child, I actually had to go transport other youths to come in to do the visit with mom, that visit was happening directly after Mr. Standiford's.
And when you say transport, tell me what you mean.
Yes, ma'am.
Physically away from the building or?
Correct. So we had to place all of the children, with the exception of one, into foster homes. And each child was placed in separate foster homes, with the exception of one that was placed with a relative. So that was 5 different locations we had to go out to get the children, to bring them back to the building to actually execute the visit.
So I am a little confused based on your answer. I want to just ask a couple of clarifying
Yes, ma'am.
questions. So as you're transporting the children, then at what point, so according to you, Mr. Standiford arrived about 45 minutes past where his appointment should have started.
Correct.
Once Mr. Standiford arrived, were you now back in the building?
I never left. I was there when Mr. Standiford arrived because I had just spoke with him over the phone.
Okay, so then help me, because now.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said you had to transport children.
Correct.
So when did that happen?
So I guess that probably would confuse it. So it was 3 persons transporting 5 children. I was responsible to go get one of the children prior to mom's visits, which was actually approximately was supposed to schedule to happen in like about an hour and 15 minutes from the time that Mr. Standiford visit had began. So when my intentions were to leave the office, but the baby didn't have a bottle.
Oh, I see.
Correct.
Mhm.
The baby didn't have a bottle, so I tried to do that. But anytime an incident like that happens and we're actually on site as the primary worker, they'll call us and say, hey, Ms. Pope, X, Y, and Z has happened. Can you come in to try to assist in this matter?
So your answer to my question is that the reason you requested or employed the assistance of Mr. Lane is because let me just say it this way, if all things running smoothly, you would have left the building.
Correct.
To go get a child.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And then Mr. Lane would have been still in the room with Mr. Standiford.
That is correct.
Supervising that visit.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions from the people based on my question?
No, Your Honor.
Any question from defense based on my question?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pope, you may step down. And Ms. Pope, let me offer an apology sort of, but, normally I would say you can stay in the courtroom.
Yes,
But I think you got on game, or whatever that commercial is that says.
Downy. Sorry.
Down something, because it is strong and
I
it is,
apologize.
right. So unfortunately, I am gonna have to ask the officers to open that door for me and kind of turn that fan outward and blow the scent out. But
Again, I do apologize for where I wasn't.
it's not your fault, it's Ms. Coleman's fault, but, I'm gonna give her a pass too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any further witness on behalf of the people?
Yes, we can call our OIC, but I haven't got my video.
So actually, let me ask this, let me say this, it's 12:25 and it's in fact lunchtime. And I actually would like an opportunity for this courtroom to air out, because it is starting to affect me. So we can let the courtroom air out, at least until 1 o'clock, and then we can resume, at 1 o'clock. That will help me, because I do feel a little bit of something coming on. But, so let's do that. That means a little bit of shorter lunch break. Ms. Drew, if you need, take a full hour, please feel free to do so, but I want to start back at 1 o'clock, okay? And then, I'm saying, if you need to stay past 1 o'clock, you know,
Oh, okay.
4 hours you can.
Okay.
Cause we're just gonna be taking testimony. Okay, so anything before we break?
Well, I'm trying to figure out this sharing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave you, I mean, you're zoomed in, I don't know why you can't share, and I have everything set where you should be able to share. So I'm gonna leave it here and you can figure it out, but there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to share. Not Ms. Drew, I don't know for Ms. Drew.
Attorney Jackson.
No, she already did.
Oh.
Bless him. Miss Triplet did it from a distance.
Oh.
So I need you you can finish your lunch.
I was just standing around.
Oh, but listen, okay, he like, I got her. I got her. No, I'm looking for Miss Stevenson.
I'm looking for Miss Stevenson so I can go ahead and do this. Oh, there's Miss. Okay, so let's do, but I love that for me. I love the way, I love that. Okay, Pepper, and then your OIC is ready to take the stand? Yes. So you can stay there, I won't make you come up to the table, then come up here, and we can switch it back. Well, actually, I kinda like the way we're sitting right there, because I can see them better.
I can't see it all.
Oh,
But we can
okay.
move this and then.
No, we can't move that, it's a big thing right there, and you can't really move that.
Or
So-
move this forward.
No, you're not getting ready to move my courtroom around?
Or you can just stand right here and you can see everything.
No, she can't see
Oh,
it,
you can
but,
stand up while
no,
you're talking.
I'm gonna do y'all like they do, I'm gonna do y'all like they just do at my business meeting that I was just at last week for a week. Address the chair, address the chair, don't address the, okay. So yeah, you can put that back. All right, so this is case number 210-451-8501, the people of the state of Michigan versus Nornick Pepper. Defendant is charged. I'm gonna have to share my screen, Ms. Coleman. You're gonna have to stop sharing your screen. Defendant is charged with 1 count of assault or assault and battery. Today is the day set for final pretrial conference appearances, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Delisha Coleman on behalf of the city of Detroit.
For the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Ms. Dorney Pepper. Ms. Pepper, good afternoon, ma'am. Please say your first, middle, and last name.
Dornique Pepper.
You all know how I am, and so I like the record to be very reflective of my interactions and my actions. So as I indicated off the record, when I came into the courtroom, Ms. Pepper, along with a defense attorney on another case, were in my courtroom because the door had been left open. I won't get into that. And then I did indicate that Ms. Pepper attempted to engage me in conversation, not about her case. However, the record should reflect that I asked Ms. Dorney to please stop talking to me, and she did. And in case anybody ever needed to confirm that interaction, the attorney that was in the courtroom was Mr. Robert Kinney, and he witnessed that interaction and me request that Ms. Pepper stop speaking to me. All right, so With respect to today's final pretrial conference, Ms. Stevenson, how do you want to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pepper and I have had the opportunity to discuss this matter, and she's had the opportunity to review with me and advice of rights form. It is my understanding that at this time, Ms. Pepper does wish to avail herself of the knowledge of the people to waive her rights in the trial and offer court plea guilty to one count of assault and battery, Your Honor, at the plea be taken pursuant to MCLA 771.
And okay. Any objection from the people with respect to the citizen?
No objection from the people.
Ms. Dornick, your lawyer indicates that you want to waive your right to trial and enter into a voluntary plea. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Court notes that Ms. Pepper has a jury trial scheduled for this coming Thursday, I believe, April 23rd at 9:30 a.m. I am going to share my screen, Ms. Pepper, and on the screen will appear a constitutional rights form. Have you had an opportunity to review for yourself or to go over with your lawyer your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
When you did that, did you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes.
Do you understand that this is a misdemeanor and therefore you have a right to a trial? However, I'm going to draw your attention to number 6, that if I accept this plea from you today, you will be giving up your right to a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you in any way or promised you anything that was not placed on this record today to get you to waive your right to a trial and enter into this voluntary plea?
No, ma'am.
Now I'm going to draw your attention to number 8. Are you currently on probation? Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. With respect to waiving your right to trial, do you understand that you have a jury trial scheduled for April the 23rd, that jurors have been summoned and will appear on Thursday if I do not take this plea today? You understand that we are ready to proceed to jury trial if you do not take this plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And with that understanding, you still want to waive your right to trial and enter into this voluntary plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Drawing your attention now to number 8. Do you understand that by entering into this voluntary plea, oh, strike that. Number 8, are you currently on probation or parole?
No, ma'am.
All right, and then now drawing your attention to number 11. Do you understand that by entering into this voluntary plea, you may be giving up your right to an automatic appeal to the circuit court? And if you were to change your mind about the plea, you would either have to request permission of this court to set aside the plea or request permission of the circuit court to appeal the conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
With that understanding, do you still want to waive your right to trial and enter into this voluntary plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You may. Ms. Stevenson. All right, Ms. Stevenson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pepper, on September 6th of 2021, do you recall being at one City of Detroit in Wayne County, Michigan?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that date at that location, were you in the company of Belinda Blair?
Yes.
And did you grab Ms. Blair without her permission?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, defense is satisfied.
People are satisfied.
You said, was she where?
At Wayne County, Michigan.
Thank you. You did, I remember now. All right. People being satisfied, the court is likewise satisfied. I will accept the guilty plea to one count of assault or assault and battery. Having accepted that plea, the court is going to set the matter for sentencing. My next sentencing date is May 18th at 9:00 a.m. Now, with respect to the sentencing, you have a right to be sentenced in person. You may consent to being sentenced on Zoom. However, today you couldn't attend on Zoom. You didn't have a good signal and all of that. So I think you should just plan to be here in person on May 18th. Or it's going to set the matter for 9:02. Prior to sentencing, you must submit to a pre-sentence investigation through the probation department. Since you are in person, I am going to have you escorted to room 317. That is the probation department, and they're going to schedule a, pre-sentence investigation for you so that I can have it on the day of sentencing, of course. Of course, the victim has a right to be present as well. Anything further on behalf of the people?
Nothing further on behalf of the people, thank you.
On behalf of the defense?
Your Honor, on behalf of Ms. Pepper, I did forward her contact information to Mr. Flanagan, sometime before today. And I did also advise her to contact the probation department if she didn't hear from them by May 4th about the pre-sentence investigation interview. So since she'll check in today, and I thank the court for that admonition, I would ask her to follow up if she hasn't heard back from them by May 4th.
They gonna follow up today, but if for some reason she leaves here without an appointment, which she should not,
Okay.
then sure, but she's gonna go across the hall to room 317, and they're gonna schedule that appointment for her. All right, we're all set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, go across the hall to room 317, and then you're free to go after they schedule your appointment. All right, I'm ready to, where's your client, Mrs. Stevenson, on the other case? Where's Mr. Stanley? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm back on the record with case number 250-457-5801, People versus Jermaine Standifer. Appearances again, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Delisha Coleman on behalf of the city of Detroit.
And for the record, Your Honor, Janice Stevenson on behalf of Jermaine Standifer. Mr. Standifer, please say your first, middle, and last name.
Jermaine Dushan Standifer.
You all may be seated. And Ms. Coleman, you can call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor, we would call OIC Garrett.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated in the witness box. Thank you.
Thank you. Mason, state your name for the record.
Detective Jared Mason.
And are you employed?
Yes, at the City of Detroit Police Department,
And how long have you been there?
25 plus years.
And what area do you work in?
I work at the 7th Precinct Detective Unit.
Do your job and what does your job employment duties entail?
I'm assigned cases, criminal cases. I'm assigned to interview, investigate, canvass.
And, did you, in the course of your duties, have an occasion to become aware of the matter which we are here for today pertaining to Jermaine Standifer?
Yes,
And what was the process for that?
I was assigned the case. I was required to interview victims, witnesses, and Mr. Senator, and review video and incident.
And did you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And, you stated that you reviewed video. Up on the screen, have you had an opportunity, is this familiar to you, what's showing on that screen?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you know, what does it pertain to?
It appears to pertain to the body-worn camera of Officer Benjamin Super.
And did you have, in regards to this body worn camera, did you have any opportunity or any input or actions in regards to this body worn camera being available for today?
Yes, I reviewed it and I also downloaded it back on.
I apologize, you said you downloaded it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And was that in the course of your normal duties?
Correct, yes.
And maintaining that evidence was that in the course of your normal duties?
Yes, for this case, yes.
And did you do that, as prescribed by whatever procedures you guys do?
Yes, I did.
And when you reviewed this video, do you recall, Your Honor, we moved to admit this video, as people's evidence one.
Any objection?
No objection.
People's proposed exhibit one is admitted as people's exhibit one.
May we play the video here?
You may.
And I'm gonna fast forward at some points, because it is a 34-minute video, but we just wanna go to the parts in which Mr. Stanford pertains.
Yes, okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hi.
If you guys can assist.
Yeah, we got someone that's not wanting to leave after a visitation.
No, he won't
Or-
leave the child to us.
Oh, did he bring the child in, or?
No, the baby is under our care and custody. He had visitation today. He first worked his last saying that his mental space, and because of that, anybody is
Over to 17421 Lumpkin for a large hearing.
so I told him to listen to it, and he told us to
It said it says not in a good mental space.
No problem, my pleasure.
Hello. What? Yeah. What's going on today? Hello, sir. What's going on today? Talk to me.
You see what's going on. You hear it.
Okay.
It's all that ain't nothing going on.
Okay. Can you have a seat? You can keep holding the baby for right now, but I need you to have a seat for me, okay? Just sit. Okay, and talk to me.
Sit down. I don't need to sit down.
Okay.
Pacing is keeping me calm. My visit over with anyway. It's 1 o'clock.
Okay. Where are you going after your visit? What time was your visit scheduled to be over? 1?
She got all the answers you need. I don't really
Okay,
talk
but I'm trying to talk to you because you're the one holding the baby. So I got to figure out, what's going on.
police.
Oh, you're being
My
served,
visit
sir.
over, I'm gonna put the baby down. I'm gonna go and mind my business.
Okay, and what time is that? I'm asking you because you're the one that
Well, what time
is in
is my
control of
visit
that.
over?
The visit was concluded about 40 minutes ago, after
Okay.
your episode.
Okay. Well, I guess the visit over now.
Okay. Well, can you put the baby down for me then?
Yeah, I don't got no problem doing that.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Your mommy gonna change you if she sees the day. Daddy don't feel like doing all that. Dead man in the mood. Okay.
Good night. Who has custody?
We do.
You guys do currently. Okay. Is mom not here then? Right?
So, last week we had a conversation about how they had to separate the visits. So the two young ladies standing outside are part of like their relationship. I think everybody's just going to talk about the fact that they couldn't visit together. So when we go out, I'll have to let her know her visit was canceled today because of this episode, because we could not allow the children to come in on police interaction.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stand by while you deliver that news for you.
Appreciate it.
So he's just basically in here acting out and not following the rules set for.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I gave him a lot of grace. His visit was 11, got here 12:09. By 12:20.
Okay. Next time don't extend that grace if his visit is supposed to be an X amount of time. Then.
Well, we spoke on the phone, and he
Oh,
told me that
okay.
he was having a challenge because he wasn't able to visit with the other children. So naturally, this is the first time they have to
Yeah,
separate,
okay.
right? So naturally, we don't. But this was an exception. But of course, no more.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Try and give them the chance to show that they're going to be reasonable and everything.
There you go.
Got it. What time was their visit supposed to be?
It's been done.
Oh, theirs is done because his ran into.
Yep. No, this is done because we had to
Oh, okay.
break this buffer.
What time was it originally scheduled though? 1? Okay. Got it. Okay. Who's that sitting in the chair? Is that your guys' staff?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, this is showing.
Okay. Okay. What is father's name? Jermaine. All right, Jermaine.
My son, it's over now.
Yep, it's over now. I need you to set the baby down and leave the premises, okay?
Is she doing her visit today?
I had that discussion.
She's gonna go out there and talk to her right now, okay?
Well-
But you have to leave before that would even be a possibility, if it even is. That's between them,
Why do I gotta
okay?
leave? I ain't
Because
because we came together, so I don't know how y'all expect me to leave.
You have to leave the premises.
I'm gonna step to the side.
Okay, the sidewalk is fine. You just can't be on the property. Otherwise, at this point, you're trespassing, okay?
I don't see why. My whole kid and my family in here, man. I ain't going nowhere. Y'all wasting y'all time, bro.
So, that's Dad. He's on the way out. He,
AVN 70 calling radio.
So I just want to tell her,
AVN 70,
we
go
can
ahead.
pull her inside, actually. Just so I can let her.
Yes, ma'am, I was wondering if you could help me.
yeah, bring her in here and we'll stand by while you talk to her. But I understand. So his visit was supposed to be 11. Because of some issues they had in the past, they broke up their visits, so they visit. Mom and Dad visit separately.
We're going to be at a abandoned vehicle.
He called them, contacted. He didn't come till 12. They tried to extend some grace. At this point, Mom's is supposed to start
Step
now,
inside the door, because I don't know.
AVN
but
70.
it's
Hold on. I need the bridge card. I need the bridge card.
Ivy, please.
No, ma'am.
well. We'll be back out in a minute.
Just give me that.
Can you step in? We're talking
Step in.
about children. Jesus Christ.
AVTF
But because of the incident going on with the child, they cut off all the rest of the business for the day because they're not.
Because you're going to allow him
They
to
don't
not
want
have
anything
your
outside.
children.
And it's,
This y'all pulled today was completely unacceptable. What did I do? First of all, you knew y'all weren't supposed to show up together. The moment y'all showed up together, I agree.
Code
We
5120.
talked about this extensively last week. Then I asked y'all to go stand at the curb. Y'all standing in the door egging him on. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's your baby's at risk. He has one, you have 5. So because of y'all little nuance and nonsense today, all visits are canceled. No way I was going to have your babies come in here with police escort. This is insane. Then I'm telling you to come.
on me.
Then I asked you to step back here. You talking about a bridge card?
Yeah, for the other children. I thought we were having a visit.
Ivory.
That'll be 5471
You didn't
Selvage.
say my visit was canceled.
Ivory.
Miss Pope.
Ivory.
Can I see my baby?
No, ma'am. We're done. I'll see y'all in court tomorrow.
Can you get my speaker from me, Miss Cole?
Where did you see her?
Or can I give it to you now? Oh, never mind. I got it.
Have a good day. Thank y'all for coming.
you have Mom's name, Dad's name, all that. All right, if we can get everyone involved's name from you, please. If they come back up here and cause any problems at all, just don't hesitate and give us a call.
I definitely won't. This is in craziness. And then, see, let me get everybody's name.
Come on. Bro, better back the fuck up. Come on.
Excuse me, sorry. What's going on?
Miss Pope, Miss Pope.
Yes, Mr. Jennifer. You've already wasted enough of my time today. Yes.
Why you cancel her visit?
Are you Ivory?
That's
Okay, because of your behavior, that's why we're canceling.
What behavior?
We'll try again next week if the court permitted.
What
I'll be
behavior?
reporting this.
You asked me to do something and I did it.
Jennifer, I'm done.
it's time to go.
I don't get
Miss Pope, don't do her like that, Miss Pope.
It's time to go.
Can I get that cat and that number, please?
If the court permits future visitation, make sure you follow the site guidelines.
I
Okay?
ain't worried about none of that. I'm calling her supervisor right now.
Okay.
I ain't worried about none of that.
It's fine.
Follow the guidelines.
Okay, just do me a favor and call from outside, please. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Preferably the sidewalk.
2025-132.
Run
02649.
run names. Okay. Run names. If we have any issues, we can, or if it's something we're gonna deal with right now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Once we get names, we're gonna run them because we're not gonna play a back and forth game all day. 5068 Seward.
You buying lunch or something?
You buying lunch? Who's buying lunch? I don't care who's buying. Put my order in if y'all's buying.
I got lunch.
What do you say?
He's calling her supervisor. That's what he's saying. He's calling the worker supervisor.
This is brown bag.
Shane on the disturbance. You know, says the employee at the store arguing with the female there.
Oh, you got her phone number?
Oh, no, remember he used to, put his wife cooking in the room 4 in the bag, bringing that home cooked meal. Right.
I'm gonna start eating fast food again. Seems like that's when I lost.
It's really not food, that's why. It goes in one end and goes out the other real fast. That's why it's called fast.
That's one way of putting it. Right.
Oh, when I was eating, like, healthy eating?
Officers overheard his statement.
Okay, I mean, I just wanted to know that I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're gonna run them.
Okay.
We want
Relevant, but
Anyway.
They don't know nothing. I mean, we can force them, but did you force your money?
Mac don't know nothing either.
Date of birth by any chance? Or do you know their date? Do you have their date?
Yeah, I can go get it.
Can you? Yeah, because we're gonna run them.
Okay.
We want to see if there's gonna be any.
Yes. Can you keep out on the for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna take care of that just in case there's any issues.
Thank
We
you.
tell them to leave,
Okay.
so we just want to know what kind of package we got. Yeah. He's something else. Just take name.
Yeah, name, date of birth is great.
Name, date of birth. You want to throw them in the center or just street that helps.
Oh, that's just bothering you. My baby.
the court could hear.
Yeah, I can go get it.
Can you? Yeah, because we're gonna run them.
Okay.
We want to see if there's gonna be any.
Yes. Can you keep out on the for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna take care of that just in case there's any issues. We tell them to leave,
Okay.
so we just want to know what kind of package we got. Yeah. He's something else. Just take name.
Yeah, name, date of birth is great.
Name, date of birth. You want to throw them in the center or just street that helps.
Oh, that's just bothering you. Oh, it's just bothering that baby.
Oh, all right.
I just wanted to. Okay, so. Oh, he's still.
Yeah. We're gonna go see if we have any leverage before we go and speak with them and let them know. So.
I didn't refuse to leave the building. I didn't do anything.
We're gonna let him stand around the phone for right now. We're gonna go run his name real quick and see what we have before. I mean, if he leaves, he leaves. Good, but yeah. All right, we'll do this real quick. Is your talent already up?
Yeah, it should be.
They both got multiple traffic. He has a PPO on someone else, and then he also has a assault warrant for DV from a couple, like 3 years ago.
Okay, so
We got enough for both of them if you want. So we'll go.
Is she still out there?
I don't know if she went back to the car.
She's not actively standing out.
No. Yeah.
He was in the back. He was making threats to whenever she gets outside, and threats to come and damage the building.
Okay.
So he needs to leave.
Yep.
If he doesn't want to leave, then
Yep. We'll give him 10 seconds, and if he's not gone in 10 seconds,
we're not going to get into a fight with him over it.
Yeah.
He's emotional and upset right now with the visit, obviously.
Got it.
We have enough to. Absolutely.
Initially, he came in and acted as we're talking on the phone. He's like, I'm coming to do this. He was disgruntled about not having the ability to see the other children, which just try to like, coach them through that process.
Do they have the other children, or?
No, all of the children.
So you guys have all the children, okay. So he's essentially.
You guys want to go back there a second?
No, we can, we're gonna go talk to him in a second.
What is it that you're trying to draw my attention to?
Because the officer stating in regards to Mr. Standiford saying you.
Okay, so that's not gonna be.
I thought it was the one officer, the heavier.
All right, just play, because I don't want you to keep, I don't.
Fuck her whenever she gets outside. And the threats to come and damage a little bit.
Okay.
So, paperwork. He needs to leave.
Yep.
If he doesn't want to leave, then.
Yep, we'll give him 10 seconds, and if he's not gone in 10 seconds, yeah.
We're not going to get into a fight with him over it.
Yeah.
He's emotional and upset right now with the visit.
So
Everyone's failing to follow the guidelines set to allow visitation, so you have to do what you can for the safety and security of the child.
absolutely.
Got it.
And us.
And yourself,
And us.
absolutely.
Yes, that's important.
Yourself and the child. Okay.
Doorway with one foot out, one foot in. And I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done. And that's when he told me, if you want me out of here, you got to call the police. Hence why I called you out.
Yeah, we can go over there. Front of our room.
Yeah. So that was the last conversation we had. At that point, I asked him about 10 times to relinquish the baby over to Mr. Lane. He told me he's not doing it. And so now, because of his threats, I'm in fear for not only myself, but also for the baby. And that's how we, and as you can hear, the threats continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
All it is two random bags on the corner.
12:09 a.m.
And when was his appointment originally?
11 a.m. Yeah.
Yep.
And another reason why we gave you grace is because me and mom had a visit with the baby at 1 o'clock. So I get it, the transition from going from the family dynamic to now you have to do it independently.
Yeah.
It can be tough, right? And I'm one of the more caring workers that will give you that grace. But yeah.
Do you have the office phone number to this specific?
I don't have an office phone.
You have a
We all
work phone number?
Yeah, it's the 657 number.
Okay.
You need my personal number as well?
No, work is great. Work is great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the timeline of what time you're supposed to be here, what time you came here, things you did. You've got some of the specific threats made.
Mom's visit was canceled, just so I can let you know about her participation in it. The other two parts that are part of the poly, I specifically asked them to go and stand at the curb.
Yeah.
They're standing at the door communicating him, egging him on, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Absolutely.
even after, as you guys arrived, they were still standing at that doorway, attempting to come in. Oh, we want some water, playing that game, right? And I was like, out, get out. Yeah. So
Everyone's failing to follow the guidelines set to allow visitation, so you have to do what you can for the safety and security of the child.
absolutely.
Got it.
And us.
And yourself.
And us.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's important.
Yourself and the child. Okay.
Thanks, you. I appreciate it, okay?
You guys been safe out here.
Yeah.
Just out of 5120.
I'll let Kat know what's happening real quick.
Yeah.
Long story short, he's not in a good headspace. He's been threatening the workers here.
That guy there?
Yes, he was here to visit his child, wouldn't return the child to him, saying, wait till you meet me in the parking lot, a variety of some other threats at him. We're going to be petitioning him in today.
Okay.
So,
He's telling him that he's not in a good headspace. That's the problem.
yeah, he's not in a good headspace. He's making verbal
Because of
threats.
the whole thing going on with the kids and the visitation stuff, I get that, but when you make a
Yeah.
comment like that.
Yeah, he said he's going to hurt everyone involved in this child case.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jermaine.
Hey, Jermaine, come talk to us. So we can see what's going on. Come talk to us. Handled by who? Come tell us what's going on.
Are we going to fight?
I'm not the police, this all. Tell me what's going on.
So I'm trying to do it without getting to that level.
Let's see if Kat can work him. Yeah, if we can get him back over here, it kind of contains him and we're not chasing him around.
We're not going to chase after him.
Okay.
That's the one thing. I mean,
Okay.
for this, he's upset, he's angry. Yeah. We're not going to run after him. Okay, but I'm also not going to, we need to get him away from here.
Okay. We'll go talk to him, and if he keeps walking, he keeps walking. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm letting you know you can't be up here, okay?
Yeah, I can. I come here to keep it like you.
11-1.
They've cut that off.
Can you RTF us? Show me at 19216 Norwood.
Let him keep going.
I got 3 stray dogs.
I'm done talking to these supervisors, then
And I'm sorry, what unit is this again?
Okay.
12-1.
712 for 19 to 15. No good.
Yep. We just keep. The farther we go, the farther he gets. Yep.
Radio, be advised, you're coming in very, very low.
Okay, I got you.
I ain't on the premises.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now.
Not trying to touch you right now. I'm just trying to talk to you.
I'm telling you right now, you touch me, I'm going to defend myself.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to touch you.
You touch me, I'm going to defend myself.
I'm back here.
Go about your business.
Can I tell you what's going on or no?
7132.
Okay. Let him keep going.
7132.
There he goes. Let him go. Let him go.
You got warrants as well. You have warrants as well. Do you want to go to jail today?
Ivory.
Why don't you go to jail today? Yes or no?
11-1.
If no, I would suggest y'all leave and handle this in court tomorrow. That's how this
Can
goes.
we get animal control to this location?
Thank you, ma'am.
You got it, sir. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to get logged back on.
Yeah, 772 radio.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we're not going to chase on foot after this subject over here. He took off. We were just trying to get him to leave the business. And he's loaded on the Pepsi plant now.
14 on this.
4891.
4891.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I was on the bell with the owner. Negative Blumstein.
Got it, sir.
And in your experience as a detective, does that body worn camera fairly accurately represent what you viewed when it was turned over to you?
Yes.
I have nothing further. Ms. Stevenson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Detective Mason.
Absolutely.
All right, so,
Do we still need to share this?
no, thank you.
Okay, you can stop the screen.
So it's fair to say that Mr. Standifer was not arrested during this incident, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is it fair to say that, that the officers, when they arrived there and when they're doing their investigation, they just want Mr. Standifer to leave, correct?
Initially, yes.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Standifer was arrested the day of this incident at all?
He was not.
Okay. Do you know if the officers had contact information for Mr. Standifer?
I think it was provided to him through Ms. Pope.
Okay, so you think they knew where he lived?
Objection, relevant, Your Honor.
I mean, I can move on from there, but he's not arrested, correct?
And on that day, no.
Okay, was he arrested subsequently?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. But they don't go to his house and get him, right?
No, ma'am.
All right, okay, and, so you had an opportunity just to review all the evidence in the case, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so at some point, it is it your understanding that, Ms. Pope believes she's giving Mr. Standiford grace.
Yes,
Okay, so at some point, she says that he was acting strangely or whatever, but she lets the visit continue, correct?
yes,
Okay, she doesn't stop.
No.
Okay, she gives him grace so that they can continue to have the visit.
yes.
Okay. So do you know if, it seems like there was some conversation about Mr. Standiford not being in the right headspace. Did you hear that?
I heard that mentioned sometime in the video, yes.
Okay. Do you know if there was any conversation about him being petitioned as a mental health?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you didn't hear an officer say that, anything about petitioning him?
Oh, I think toward the end, they were discussing, as they ran through lean, all his warrants,
Mm-hmm.
and something in the system for PPO.
Right,
And then also, I don't recall if it was petitioning.
okay. Did you hear the officer say they were thinking about petitioning him?
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean to your knowledge?
Also, if there's in lean, if there's a mental issue,
Uh-huh,
he may have mental issues in the lean, they're required to petition him, which really took him to crisis.
okay, that didn't happen.
No, they didn't.
All right, I don't have anything further right now.
Can you read it right?
No, really, right.
Thank you, Detective, you may step down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything further on behalf of the people?
We have no further witnesses at this time. We believe we will call this closed as a rebuttal witness.
Your Honor, okay, the people rest.
The people rest at this time.
All right, Ms. Stevenson, anything on behalf? Of the defense, will there be anything at this time?
Could I have a 5-minute recess before I answer that question?
Sure.
Thank you. Can you step outside for me? Oh, that's.
Your Honor, can I go to the restroom right quick?
We're in a 5-minute recess. Am I still, I want this chat to stop talking about stuff that's not, I'm getting ready to stop the live stream. It is America. It is America, but you're gonna be appropriate in my chat or you're gonna get out. It is America. The Brock 12, it is America. I'm gonna stop the live stream. Keep it up. Nobody made me mad. You all don't know how to be respectful in this chat.
This one has a dismissal form in it from,
Let me see. What name is this?
Juval.
What time did I tell them 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
But I didn't remember, I didn't look at the time.
It's been about 5
I didn't
minutes.
look at the time. And then, did Ms. Coleman say she might recall that lady is,
I think she's still here.
oh, did she go change her role?
No, she's still here. She didn't.
Oh. Okay. Okay. And this is to bring to attention, your client apparently, Mr. Jewell was supposed to do a pre-trial resolution.
No, he did, and they submitted, he wanted to.
Oh, well, you gotta do the order then, because I'm supposed to send it bail to appear. That's the one who, I was gonna put it on the record.
Yes.
Oh, see, y'all gotta remember, she handed that to me and I wrote bail to appear.
Okay.
And did not sign that.
Okay.
Somebody do another order.
That should
So
be-
you see, I don't hold you out, you know.
That should, there's a nollie price already.
Right, but I wrote on the nollie cross, defendant failed to appear. So Miss Coleman needs to do another one. Cause Mr. Hill had did it, but, so you can give, they can give her that back, that did, I wrote on that. Ms. Drew can give it back
Right
too.
here. Yeah.
Ms. Drew can,
Here it is. Right here.
So she can just redo it, cause I wrote on the signature line.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I was thinking it didn't come, but that's the one I was supposed to put on the record. Okay, so we're ready to go. Oh, what happened to the light? I mean, to the thing, you turned it on?
Well, who turned it
Oh, actually, yes, I did, Your Honor. When
Oh.
we went to, I did. Let me turn it back on. When we
Oh,
went to
okay.
recess.
And look, cause I don't even.
When we went to recess, yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did, and I turned it back.
I'm like, cause I know I didn't touch it. I can't even remember my password.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back on the record. Ms. Stevenson, is there, well, Ms. Stevenson, the people have rested anything on behalf of the defense?
Your Honor, defense rests.
Mr. Standiford, can you stand up, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Standiford, your lawyer has stated that the defense rests, which means that she does not want and intend to call any witnesses. And I do understand the court's ruling earlier with respect to not continuing the matter. And then number two, though, that would also mean that you have decided not to testify. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Standiford, do you understand that you have a right to testify and you have a right to remain silent? The decision whether or not you testify is completely yours in consultation, discussion with your lawyer. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you discuss whether or not you would testify? Did you discuss that with Ms. Stevenson?
Yes, ma'am.
And after you discussed that with Ms. Stevenson and based upon your conversation with her, is it your personal decision not to testify?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you in any way or promised you anything that was not placed on this record, that was not brought to the court's attention to get you to waive your right to testify?
No, ma'am.
All right. The court finds that Mr. Standiford is waiving his right to testify freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. With that, defense has rested and I'm ready for closing argument. You all may be seated, Ms. Coleman. Thank you, Your Honor. You heard the testimony of the primary component witness, Katina Pope, which was substantially substantiated through the body worn camera that we had admitted. That Mr. Standiford was upset. He came in when he saw that he wouldn't be able to have the initial parenting time similar to previously parenting time, even though he had been warned that it wasn't going to happen again. And he made the statement, I'll hurt, or to the effect of, he will hurt everybody up in here on this case. And that is a threat to DHHS. And notwithstanding that, Ms. Pope, understanding that, you know, there's a lot of things going on and trying to keep status quo moving so that Mr. Standiford could still see his baby, because she's very candid in ultimately wanting to maintain the family unit as the family goes through the process, but also abiding by her own procedures and policies with her employment. Yeah, she could have stopped the visitation even before it happened with Mr. Standiford's initial statement, but even though it made her feel uncomfortable and vulnerable, she felt like, and maybe because another individual, Mr. Lane, was in with Mr. Standiford, giving some space to his angst and anxiety, that the parenting time could go forward and allow for him to see his baby, because it is emotional. While she said he wasn't emotional, she also understood that it is an emotional situation for all parties. Notwithstanding that, a threat to a DHHS employee is still a violation of law. And we believe that the testimony and the presentation of the body worn camera, because how else would that officer have known that there was a threat to DHHS except for that threat being made known to them at that time on that date? as stated by the complaining witness, Ms. Pope, on the stand as our primary evidence. And we believe that we have met our burden beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you.
So, the Ms. Pope's rendition of the events is not substantiated by the video evidence, Your Honor. She basically reiterates, so just because she says it again doesn't mean that it's been substantiated. There's nobody else here. Mr. Lane, if he's threatened at work, then Mr. Lane ought to be here to tell this court that he was threatened at work. A lot of video, a lot of security, it looked to me, over there at the DHS office, and there's nothing to show what was happening. I mean, I just don't know how they're looking at all these kids and all the other stuff that they're doing without some better type of video surveillance. So there's nothing there to show what was happening, what actually was said or wasn't said by Mr. Standifer during what was a really difficult experience for him. So most troubling to me is Katina Pope did appear to be a very professional, very competent DHS worker. And that individual, I believe, if she honestly felt threatened, not annoyed, not put off, not bothered, she felt threatened by anything that Jermaine Standifer did or said to her or did or said in her presence, she would not have, quote unquote, given him grace. She would not have exposed the baby. She would not have exposed the other workers there to potential danger if she really felt like Mr. Standifer was behaving in a threatening manner. She wouldn't have given him any grace. She wouldn't have given him grace repeatedly. And I think that her trying to work with Mr. Standifer, even though, you know, her patience did run out, and we can see that when she is about to start the visit with the other parent, she just immediately, instantly says, that's not gonna happen. We're done here because you're done because of what he did, even though we're trying to do this family reunification, we want these kids to be together and all this other kind of stuff because of something that he did. Now you don't get to see your baby. That woman asked her, can I see my baby? She's like, no. Why? Because of what he did. That's annoyed, you know, possibly bothered, frustrated, but not threatened. And that's what the people have to show beyond a reasonable doubt. And they should be able to do that with something other than just Ms. Pope's testimony. Ought to be some video evidence, some surveillance of what's happening in the building. Mr. Lang ought to be here. Police get there, and it doesn't appear to me that they're completely convinced that Mr. Standifer threatened anybody. Because I think if they had been, they wouldn't have just told him you need to leave. And Ms. Pope testified that the police escorted Mr. Standifer out of the building. They really, looks from the video, like they just told him, get out of here and go wait outside. And then even as he's coming back to talk and all the other kind of stuff, we said, get out of here or you're gonna be trespassing. Not going out and placing somebody under arrest who has threatened all these people over the DHS office. So this is hard work that they're all doing. It's a hard place for Mr. Standifer to be. It's a hard place for Ms. Pope, apparently Mr. Lang. This hard work, it's very emotional. And I think that's what we saw. Emotions just running really, really, really high that day. That's a little beautiful baby. It's a lot going on. Ms. Pope testified that she hasn't had any interaction with Mr. Standifer since the date of this incident. That whatever it is, it's all of he's lost his child. and not doing anything retaliatory, not getting over there trying to get back at anybody. It's just an emotional, and it's a very, very, very emotional, very sad, troubling situation. And Ms. Polk's work is hard. But she just didn't come off to me, being a professional person that she is. If she really felt threatened, she wouldn't have been given any medical grace. That visit would not have happened if she really felt threatened. That she does get frustrated at the end to the point where you can see everybody out of the pool. Nobody having no business today because of what somebody else did. So I'm just asking the court, this very tragic situation. No, nobody, we all get up and go to work and we want to go home and make it back home safe. We don't want to be threatened. But can't call it threats when that's not what's happening. We don't give grace to people threatening us, not when we know what that could lead to. We don't place infants in the care of people who are dangerous. They wouldn't do that. They didn't because it was threatening. So I asked you to find Mr. Stanford.
Yes, Your Honor. I think the first threat, and that's the point that the crux of all of this argument is about, is if I don't get my visits, I will hurt everyone up in here. That's a threat, but it's a threat with a condition, but it's still a threat. And to say, well, I don't really believe she was threatened because she showed grace. I don't know about anybody else, but my Lord says turn the other cheek. That's what he says. And so to say, well, her being professional doesn't mean she gets to still allow this visit, even though she knows that circumstances well enough to say, well, it made me uncomfortable. It made me feel vulnerable. And to say, well, what is a threat? A threat of harm. I will hurt everyone up in here is a threat of harm. She is a DHHS worker. So for her to say, well, her doing her job and her being professional, it doesn't make sense to me that she would still let that visit go. He didn't say he was gonna threaten the child. And Ms. Polk, knowing that situation and their polymorphous or whatever union relationship, whatever it is, knowing the semantics of it, felt concerned, but not concerned to the point where she's calling everything off immediately. Let's see if we can massage or move this along without that threat coming to fruition. But it doesn't change, it's still a threat. Just because there's a cause and effect. If I don't get this, then this is gonna happen. It doesn't change that this still could happen. And even to the point where after you get off work, the police won't be there because that's where the threat transgressed. That's where the threat continued on and got to the point where, hey, we're done here. You don't listen, you do what you want to keep going back and forth, stepping in and out, all these other things. Now it's getting to the point where, yeah, it's more than I can show the grace that I've shown. And evidence says that we don't need more, that the witness's statement is sufficient, but not only Ms. Polk's statement, in that body worn camera, how did the officer know about the threat? The threats, except for being informed of on that day at that time. And I think that's more than sufficient evidence to find beyond a reasonable doubt that the threat or threats occurred to a DHHS worker on that date and at that time, and that we have met our burden beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right. NCR 6.403 indicates that when trial by jury has been waived, the court with jurisdiction must proceed with the trial. The court must find the facts specific, state separately its conclusions of law, and direct findings and conclusions on the record or in a written opinion made a part of the record. Defendant having previously waived his jury trial, the matter being tried by the bench, court is ready to issue his decision. According to MCR 6.403, I think I just said. People have the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about May 15, 2000, strike that May 12, 2025, at or near the location of 1801 East Canfield in the city of Detroit, in the county of Wayne, that Mr. Jermaine Duchamp Standiford, in violation of MCL 750.81C, subsection 1, did communicate to Katina Polk a threat that he or she would physically harm Katina Polk because that individual was an employee of the Department of Human Services. In order to meet its burden, the people submitted 2 witnesses, 1 exhibit. And then the defendant exercised his constitutional right to remain silent, and he did so. Court finds the following facts according to the witness and the body cam that was admitted, that on or about that date, Mr. Standiford appeared for his visitation with his son, who was in custody of the state of Michigan at the time. The visitation by the family law judge was ordered supervised. In the course of her duties, Ms. Polk was the designated individual case manager and person to supervise those visits. In the course of her duties, she delegated that particular day the responsibility to one of her co-workers to actually supervise the visits. Ms. Polk testified that during the course of these visitation, there was some issues, some disagreements, some failure of Mr. Standiford to stay within the bounds of the visitation. One, first being to stay within the visitation room. Court finds and notes that apparently there was a shift, a change in the allowed visitation, that there were 5 children involved and 1 biological, to Mr. Standiford, that the order had changed and Mrs. Standiford could only visit with his 1 biological child. And then the other family unit would visit with all 5 children. Apparently the biological mother and then another person who was a part of this family unit. On this day, they appeared together, notwithstanding the change, and Ms. Polk addressed the issue. She indicated that at some point, Mr. Standiford took the minor child out to the lobby in an unsecured area. She had to have him go back into the visitation room with coaxing. He went back into the visitation room and then at some point came out into the secure hallway, but not inside the visitation room. She again had to coax him back into the visitation room. She indicated that he kind of went in the visitation room and then kind of was out. He had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And if you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, then you out of the visitation. So he was out of the visitation room. She got tired of it and decided she was going to end the visit. Now, prior to all of that, prior to all of those things, Ms. Polk indicated that when Mr. Standiford was initially informed of the fact that he would only be allowed to visit with the the infant alone and separate from the other children, that there was a threat made. She indicated that he said he was going to harm everybody involved in the case. Notwithstanding that, she still tried to allow the visitation. And then at a certain point, he was asked to leave the premises and he refused to do so, and then the police were called and everything else ensues after that. So let the court be clear with respect to the factual basis and its consideration of the guilt or innocence of Mr. Standiford, that him refusing to leave the building is not what he's charged with and is not the consideration of the court. While it is clear on the body cam that he refused to leave, he is not charged with refusing to leave the building. So the court focuses on the threat. Ms. Stevenson, in her closing argument, has indicated several times, one, that if Ms. Pope felt threatened, she would not have extended the grace. And I'm reminded immediately of the jury instruction that says, in deciding the facts of the case, you are to use your own common sense and everyday experience. And every day, this court extends grace to people who curses her out, to people who say they gonna do some stuff. This court has probably said, tell me where to meet you. And then I've often said, I wonder if anyone could ever be convicted of assault and battery as it relates to this court, because I'm not afraid of you. And in an assault and battery, I believe that you kind of have to express fear, the person. Or it has to be, would a reasonable person be afraid? And so probably in my instance, if that ever were to occur, they would have to use the reasonable person standard, because one might say she's not reasonable because a reasonable person would be afraid. She's the person that's just probably not afraid. However, I took the opportunity to look up the statute that I am charged with enforcing. And MCL 750.81 subsection C says threats or assault against employee of Family Independence Agency. And then it says a person who communicates a threat to physically harm an FIA employee because of their status as an employee is guilty of a misdemeanor. It doesn't say that the person had to feel threat. It didn't say that the person had to express any fear for their safety. It says a person who communicates a threat to a person because of their status is guilty. That would translate to somebody coming to that door and saying, I'm gonna beat that judge up because she was the judge on my case. I don't feel afraid, but they communicated a threat because of my position. That is what Mr. Standiford is accused of doing, communicating a threat because of a person's position. The fact that Mr. Lane is not present is of no consequence because one, there was no testimony that Mr. Lane was present when those words were articulated. Now, I also want to kind of jump to the people's assertion that there was an additional threat. There was an additional threat about she got to leave that building. With respect to that threat, that allegation, the court does not find substantial proof on this record for two reasons. One, the officer who allegedly physically heard the threat is not present. Two, I did not hear that on the video. That's why I asked the question, what is it that I'm listening for? I did not hear that on the video. And even if I had, unless people were gonna lay a foundation for excited utterance, presence and suppression, or some non-hearsay exception to the hearsay rule, then I wouldn't receive that information. It would have to come from the person who heard that threat, which the court isn't. So just so that we're clear, that particular part of the allegation, the court does not consider. So again, I focus on the allegation from Ms. Polk with respect to the initial threat. I think I may have already said this, but I disagree with defense that if I feel threatened, I don't extend grace. I disagree with that. I found Ms. Polk to be very credible, and I find her desire to allow unification, whether or not the court is going to ultimately revoke that privilege. That's not her business, and she rightfully said that is not her business. If you have court tomorrow and they terminate your parental rights tomorrow, today you have a right to visit with your child, and I'm going to enforce and allow that visitation. So with respect to whether Ms. Polk's allegation seems credible, I find her to be a credible witness, but I'm gonna now focus on the body cam. While the body cam does not show the threat, because the threat allegedly occurred before the police arrived, what the body cam shows me is a very stubborn and a spirit that's in opposition to authority. What it shows is an individual who had his mind set on doing what he wanted to do. Even if it was putting that baby in danger. What do you mean, Judge? Police came in. The police said, let me talk to you. Talk to me, tell me what's going on. Police tried to get Mr. Standiford's side of the story, and he said, I mean, you look at me. I'm here, busy, you see what's going on. Who does that? Okay, people who are opposed to authority. And so the officer said, well, I just want to talk to you. I want to find out, what she said, what's going on here, because she's accusing you of certain things. And he said, I mean, it is what it is, the visit over anyway. It's getting ready to be over anyway. Now, if I really want to see my child, now I'm holding a child. The police said either they asked him to sit down or do something. He said, no, I'm gonna be standing right here. I'm doing it. Now, I saw some security on the video. Security like metal detector things. I'm assuming people that come there to visit their kids are screened. That could have went a whole different way. Because you're holding this baby. You're aggressive. You're not loud. You're not demonstrative, but you're aggressive while you're holding an infant in your arms. You're opposing authority. Authority who was trying to get both sides of the story. That would have probably been a good chance if I didn't do anything to say, officer, I don't really understand. I'm visiting my child. It's supervised visit. I have however much time left, and I just really want to visit my child. But if I have a consciousness of guilt, because I know I left that room when I shouldn't have, because I know I stepped on the hall when I shouldn't have, even down to the point where the other young lady came in for her visit, and I'm trying to tell them to go in, and the other person is yelling out, about the bridge card. There's a way to do that. There's a way to ask for that. There's a way to do things to keep calm in a situation. There are ways to do those things. And I'm gonna correct what I believe is a is a factual, misstatement. That Ms. Polk denied the mother visitation, not because of what Mr. Stanford did. That's not what she said. She said she denied the visitation because the mother knew she was not supposed to come at the time that Mr. Standifer came. And so then it doesn't help that you came at that time and now we have this commotion. And then after she made her professional decision, Mr. Standifer fashioned himself to be the person to come in and question Ms. Polk about why she's not letting somebody else do the visitation. None of your business would have been my response. None of your business, get out my building. She didn't do that though, but the police, I think by that time they were there. A person doesn't have to be loud and boisterous to be obstinate and refractory to a situation. A person doesn't have to be yelling and doing all those things to be clearly opposed to what the standard that has been set is supposed to be. I find Ms. Polk to be very credible. I find her story to be consistent, and I believe her when she says that Mr. Standifer made a threat to her as in her capacity as a DHHS worker. Court finds people have met their burden beyond a reasonable doubt and finds defendant guilty of one count of threatening a DHS worker, employee, physical harm contrary to MCL 750.81C, subsection 1. I also want to make this statement just for the record. There were some things on that body cam that probably should have been redacted. And had this been a jury trial, it probably would have, probably would have stopped the video. There was hearsay in that video that probably should have been redacted, but because I know, yeah, I think they met whoever. Yeah, I'm not gonna live stream my trials anymore. But because I know the law, I didn't really consider those things. And then I'm gonna leave that little chat up because I'm gonna address that chat when I finish this case. But I also I'm not going to. I could do immediate sentencing. Because the victim is here. So I could do immediate sentencing. And I'm not going to. Why am I not going to? Because if I did immediate sentencing, Mr. Standifer would go to jail today. Let me just be clear. You're obstinate and refractory right in here. Your body language, your facial features, the whole thing, right in here. You showed up on my Zoom this morning with no shirt on. You came on my Zoom this morning with your bare chest. And all I did was tell you to come down here. Come on down here. Come on down here. You've been rolling your eyes. You've been huffing and puffing. And I don't know why, other than that you are opposed. You operate in opposition to, I don't know, everything. I have treated you fairly. You probably disagree right now. You probably disagree with my decision. And that's okay, because every time I come here, somebody is gonna not be happy with my decision. That's just the nature of my work. But because I strive to and desire to be fair, I'm not going to entertain immediate sentencing, because I could. But it would, I'm almost certain it would result in me putting you in jail. I'm almost certain. I understand, don't let me say I understand. Because I never have been in the position that you found yourself in. And I don't know what brought you to the place of having to have supervised visits at the Department of Human Services. But I could, if I could not see my child when they were younger, I don't know how that would make me feel. I don't know how that would make me feel. But however it makes me feel, Ms. Polk isn't the reason that you were there. I suppose the judge in a family case was the reason you were there, and, technically. But some things happened, fair or unfair, that ultimately caused the judge to decide to discontinue your parental rights. And so I know that that could be very emotional. But when you come here, we're not the ones that cause that. And I know sometimes it could be difficult to separate those emotions. But because I want to separate my emotions and never want to sentence a person or do something because I'm feeling any type of way about, how people act in court, I'm going to set the matter of sentencing, and I'm going to have a pre-sentence investigation. I said all that just to say, Mrs. Sandifer, I see a lot of people and I don't remember many people. Even when I have trials, sometimes I don't remember them. But when you come back, so I disagree, like I said, with Ms. Stevenson about grace and mercy. People curse me out, I still extend them grace. I know people come here with issues and all type of things, I still extend them grace. Because I'm saying I want to do a pre-sentence investigation, I am extending you grace. But when you come back here for sentencing, sir, I'm just letting you know in advance, it's probably a good idea to not exhibit some of the behavior that you have exhibited today. Because it's going to, one, remind me that you exhibited it today, and two, it'll be on the day of your sentencing. It is not my desire to put people in jail, Mrs. Sandberg. I apologize. I'll tell you that up front, that is not my desire, nor is it my custom. But it is sometimes what I do. I am taking into consideration, I can already tell you, the emotion of the situation. And so I'm just imploring you to remember that when we come back for sentencing. And since it appears that that other case is over anyway, of course, the no contact provision is still in place and is in order. Now, I think my next sentencing date, what date did I give? I gave a date earlier, May 18th.
Yes.
But how many, did I already put 2 on May 18th? I might need to move to May 19th. I think I put 2 on May.
It is 2 on May.
Yeah, so let's go to May 19th. I'm gonna set this sentencing. May 19th.
Yeah.
It is 2:48, so probation is still open. Mr. Standiford can go across the hall. Sorry, Mr. Standiford can go across the hall to room 317. And, they can schedule his pre-sentence investigation. Cause like, for example, I shouldn't know he has a warrant. Like that was inadmissible, but I'm just saying, if it was a jury trial, I would really want y'all to make sure you redact somebody can. I don't know how we do it, but, you know, anyway. Anything further on behalf of the people?
Nothing further on behalf of the people.
On behalf of the defendant?
Nothing on behalf of Mr., is it 10 o'clock?
9 o'clock, sentencing. And I'm sorry, 9:02.
Okay.
That's in person, May 19th.
Can I have a notice to you?
Yes, Ms. Drew.
Okay. Sure. 2 seconds.
All right, we're all set. Everyone have a great day and stay safe. I mean, you don't even know what you're talking about, Samson. That's not even how it happens. So let me address the chat. You know, you all think you know, but you don't know. I have as much jurisdiction. You talking about I don't have jurisdiction. I think you the reason I stopped my live before, Mr. Sampson. So you don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about. And watch me not go live because of you. This is supposed to be educational. Gives the public an opportunity to still see cases when you don't come into court. But that's the reason why we don't. And I know about this table in the chat, but what you don't know is that they changed the settings, and right now we have an issue with that. I'm real smart, and I know how to handle my cases and this chat and this live stream, which I'm not going to do anymore. So thank you all very much today for showing me that I don't want to do this anymore, and just go watch somebody else court. Okay, everybody have a great day and stay safe.
So the Jewel dismissal today or the day that Mr.
Trial.
4/9 or 4/20.